All right, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, day number 297. So for today's update, today's Sunday, so there's no updates on the pending appeal. There's one sponsored block type available in the store. There was actually one, someone purchased one recently, and I have added that to the game and pushed it. The last long form video was 11 days ago, and today I worked a little bit on the next video. All right, and tonight we will continue with work on the block mining simulation game. So yesterday I got to a pretty good milestone where I can actually I can open the new world connections. In fact, I can open two of them. So let's do that again. I need lots of UI improvements to make it a bit more clear what's going on. All right, so there's the first one. Oh, interesting. I guess so that's going to mean that the way it currently works, if your player goes offline, you would still see them. I guess that's okay. An okay thing for now. Or maybe that'll just be a feature. So then I can create a second window with the second authorized player. I really need to improve the windowing, but okay, so this player can move around and they both show up together. And then this is the other player. So we can play as both two players at once. And then if I move one player onto another, I think it'll crash. Oh no, it doesn't, because you can't. They're solid. That works for now. I guess there's still a race condition where two players, if there's no like collision resolution on the server. DHRU V data 1055. I'm genre from the Axel Heiberg vid. Oh, I'm here from the Axel Heiberg vid. Excellent. So you're interested in a new society where things are better and there's housing. We can all work on technology and write JavaScript frameworks all the time. And we have good health care for kitty cats. Oh, I deleted the wrong one. Okay, you can now. It's a bit obvious that they're different. I guess eventually I'll just make for testing. I'll send like a bunch of different emojis so that way it's easy to tell them apart. NDXCZ says, hey, how's it going? Giordani says, hello, how's it going? I like the name of this live. Oh, thank you. What exactly is going on right now? I am currently working on my terminal-based video game, which is it's a game where you can simulate the process of mining blocks and minerals in an infinite procedurally generated universe. And right now, I'm in the process of implementing multiplayer. So I've kind of got it working with the client aspect of the multiplayer. There's still there's a bit of work to do still in the server stuff. Actually, there's still a lot of work to do on the client as well. I'm great. How are you doing? I'm pretty good. Today was another decently productive day. The multiplayer, I think I'm in a good position where it's the work on this. It's I guess it's most satisfying when you can get to a point where your results are actually visible. So I can explain to people that I was developing multiplayer, but now I can actually show. And there's some actual results that you can observe. Pretty cool. Keep it up. I will. Is it a hobby or something you do? More of a career? It is, I guess, part of an experiment. It's something. So, in terms of my revenue, most of my revenue come from software consulting stuff and like odd contracts. Most of that revenue dried up, and a lot of the contracts were not viable. So then YouTube ended up becoming a major revenue source. So as a long-term attempt to diversify revenue, I decided it might make sense to do videos about technical stuff and then also try to get some sales from this. So if you want, you can go to shopify.robertelder.org and you can buy a sponsored block type if you want to be forever immortalized down here in the list of people of sponsored block types. Right now, they're kind of, you can't really do anything with them, but eventually, I'm kind of just going through the list of like all natural chemical substances and minerals, so I can get people to sponsor those. Right now, they just kind of generate randomly in blobs, but the idea is that eventually, I will build stuff into the game to actually do something useful with them. So this one, calcinated anthracite, is basically like coal. So I'll probably add a recipe for that, because right now you just use wood. My days are not productive. I should make them productive. It's a good idea. You can add I don't know if I find regular exercises good for keeping your mind and body in a good place, being productive. Robert, I got a couple of ideas that no one did. I made MVP, but I got no one to help me out. Tried Y Combinator, co-founder program. No luck. I don't know what to do. I can't myself to investors. What do you suggest? Should I get a job or keep trying to find someone? I'm in a place, I got 0 friends, so I need to search them online. I would say probably, I don't know, in this environment, it probably, like if you don't have anything else going on that's generating revenue, then probably job makes sense. You you could try to get a job somewhere where you can like get close to the people. Like if you don't have contacts and connections and stuff, you could get a job somewhere where, like, it depends on. There's not a lot of context in your question. So honestly, there's not enough information for me to give you a really good answer. But I mean, even getting into Y Combinator's, that doesn't always necessarily lead to success. I find in a lot of, I mean, it is possible to get success with like a random person you met at a co-founder meetup or something, but mostly when people like meet random people and do co-found, like if you just met someone at a random event 2 weeks ago and then decided to form a company, it's probably not going to work out really well. A lot of it is if you like someone you went to university with and did a bunch of projects and like how they behave under stress, and actually honestly a good from some of the startups that I worked at that failed, I think actually a good way to meet a co-founder would be go work at a crappy failing startup that's going to go bankrupt, where it's extremely stressful, and then make friends with people who are also working there at that failing startup as it fails, and then just like take note of all the business things and what it's like and the stress and difficulty, and then you'll get to know other people there who are going through that same situation. And that way you get a paycheck, but you also get the founder experience. So that can be your first initial experience into dipping your toes into entrepreneurship. And then if a likely thing is you may go through that and then find it after you go through that kind of stressful situation with a coworker, you realize you would not want to start a company with them. I see. Would I be able to choose my own? Yeah, I guess I probably should maybe add an option for that. I haven't. I want my own mineral. What mineral are you thinking about? Make it pay to win. It's a good idea. $100 to win. I think putting projects out there. I think putting the projects out there. Maybe LinkedIn is a good idea. Good idea to lose your sanity. Which idea to lose your sanity? The thing about working in a startup, a failing startup. Okay, so that works with different emoji. Putting the projects out there plus LinkedIn. Yeah, I don't know. There's not even enough information for me to opine on that stuff. Like putting a project out there on LinkedIn. You could post a link. Like I post, when I was trying to get my channel numbers up and stuff, I was posting on all platforms, Twitter and LinkedIn, and everything every single day. And I get 2 clicks or something. It's the revenue from that is basically nothing. If you have a huge following and you're kind of if the stuff you do trends well on LinkedIn, then you might get something out of that. But if you don't have the reach, then it's kind of just wasting your time. networking, so meet dudes and dudettes in real life, not on LinkedIn. Yeah, face-to-face is more, it's definitely the more important impression. Although I used to go to meetups a lot. Although I've shifted most of my focus onto doing stuff online, because it's just, you can reach people so much. You can reach so many more people. Although unfortunately, it's like thousands of people are just like mindlessly scrolling and looking and consuming, and they never interact. Networking. I think social networking. I won't get a job at a startup. I won't get a job at a startup, I guess, because the country I'm in cares about your score and how good you are at bugging up lead code. That's the reason I got 0 following. What country are you in? That is, I guess, a significant barrier. If you can't get the visa and stuff, then it's another layer of difficulty. You can both be true at the same time. Now, since you said that, you might agree with me. I'm gonna follow what you said for now. Get some money. Think of my ideas. But my concern is if someone does it before me. It's possible. Depending on what your idea is. There's kind of like a small number of ideas that are floating around, depending on what's going on in the market, and often it's like some big company will often end up trying to do it before you. Depends what the scale of the idea is. If it's like the vision of exactly what you do and make money for the first, if you want to build a company that makes $100,000 a year, the actual sales revenue is probably going to come from something different versus if it's $1 million a year or $10 million a year. So that might indicate who you're competing with, how broad or narrow the focus is of what you're doing. I have an idea of M1 chip, like when I was 11, making a chip combined of many mobile chips. So like a distributed computing thing with used chips or something. I think there's software you can get that does that kind of stuff, but there's a lot of drawbacks. But there's also niche applications for that. One mobile can handle high graphics. Is it small? Is it a hardware idea? A hardware idea is going to be, we can combine like 5 of them into one PC. Is that what your product idea will be? There's already like emulators and stuff that run on stuff like that, but the technology to make that stuff work, it depends on like the model of phone, and it's like you can do that, but it's also like there's memory bandwidth issues and stuff, and I don't know if you want to like turn that into a product. Now I got new ideas. When I was 11, it sounds like that's in the realm of like emulators and virtual hypervisors and stuff, and distributed computing. That's like $1 billion. You need like $1 billion of capital to build a business out of that kind of stuff. Look into like if you can go work for a company like VMware or something. That would kind of put you in the neighborhood of what you want to do. Okay. Oh yeah. So there's lots of cleanup to do. Is there anywhere I can talk to you? Like not in here. I want something. If it's okay with you. If you want, you can email me if you want. But I don't know the idea. The idea you're pitching, like about combining mobile phones for a PC. Like that's a distributed computing project. That's an enormous amount of work. Like if you don't have significant capital, if you don't have millions of dollars of capital already to invest in this business idea, I don't think it. In my opinion, it's not going to go anywhere. And I think you'll be best to like maybe you can network your way. Go work at the company that's kind of like the closest to that kind of thing. If you can get a job at like VMware or something. You mentioned you're in your country is not the greatest for that. I don't know. You can try to get visas, but that's getting harder these days. Catface 1337 sends $5. Will God Emperor Robert take over Greenland before the United States? I think it makes sense to consolidate power over Axel Heiberg first. Then once there's a firm base So you don't want to extend the empire too fast. That's how the Roman Empire fell. They got too aggressive, started conquering too much, too fast. Got other ideas too. Where's your mail? You can Google. There's a link to my blog on the channel. I'm not 100% sure I'll be able to respond. There's actually a couple people emailed me about some ideas and stuff, but honestly, I probably wouldn't even be the best person to ask at this point in time. There's the startup market has been trending down. A lot of the investment now is going into AI stuff. Would we have passports on the Empire? Could you just use Canadian passports for now? Name of the currency. Currency for the Empire. Robert coin. No, I don't know. Maybe it might make sense to just use the U.S. dollar for now, till we get some momentum. U.S. or Canadian dollar. I guess the Canadian dollar is kind of pretty much the same as the U.S. dollar. It's like our currency is. It used to be backed by gold, but then I guess for some reason Canada sold all of our gold to the U.S. I think, or to somewhere, and then it went up like a crazy amount, and we have none. It's called Empire Dollar. I wouldn't be I think it'd be a good idea. Go back to like the old school days of rounds of copper, or maybe even just use bars of copper or silver. Precious metals would be the currency. Okay, let's test the WebSockets connection. Okay, let's test the WebSocket connection. No crashes. Ooh, that looks like it worked. Nope. Could not find implementation class. That might be because that's probably the reason right there. What would an alternate to money? An alternate to money? I think the historic money is the most interesting, where they had like everything was in silver and gold and copper, and over time we just kind of money got more and more worthless. It's actually kind of amusing how like money physically was a valuable thing, and then we just have like we have scams on top of scams where we just keep diluting the value of money. First it was gold, and then silver, and then copper, and then like iron and nickel, and they keep decreasing percentages. And then they went with paper, and now we don't even use paper. And now even the currency itself, they want to replace that with all these stupid altcoins. The government's getting into the cryptocurrency market. What are you doing, bro? I am currently working on building a terminal-based video game, which I will demo it momentarily, as long as it doesn't crash. Everything is green. Yep. I made it that way because it's your eyes are most sensitive to green light, so it's easy to see green on black. It's a cycle. Money devolves to currency, which becomes worthless. It starts as money again. Yeah, it's all part of the Ponzi scheme that governments run over and over again. That's not what I expected. $404. Is the port correct? Yep, the port is correct. 888888. It's more an ASMR video. Yeah, that's a common comment that people make. So for some reason, it won't connect. Read up on Hindu mythology lately. There are different eras that keep repeating themselves. The Golden Age, followed by the Silver Age, and going downwards in quality. Funny how it resembles that. Yeah, it's honestly, it's kind of depressing that the this idea of like cycles, of like societal cycles, repeats in like a lot of different and a lot of different like visions of the future. And that probably means it's more likely to be actually true, and that we're down. Where there's the other common phrase like, you know, good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. Hard times create strong men. I can't remember the exact phrase, but something like that. What age are we in now? I think we're in the age where things get worse. Okay, that looks correct. hostname IP, port, and URL. The older interpretation is that we're in the Kali Yuga, the worst one, symbolized by iron. But there are other interpretations setting us at the end of it. So I guess the first one says we're at the bottom and things are going to get better. And the other interpretations say it's about to get worse. And slowly going up to the Bronze Age. So things are improving. Yeah, I think with a lot of there's like lots of crazy disclosures and stuff coming out, and like frauds and stuff being discovered. But the fact that this stuff is being like discovered and talked about I think is actually is positive, because the fraud already happened, and now that we know it's happening, and everyone is like pointing fingers, and people are people are crashing out and ratting out other people and stuff. That's just gonna continue for a while, and once all this stuff is out in the open, then we can actually fix it. But it's gonna take a long time. weird. That should be a simple thing. Accelerationism at its finest. Lots of erratic actors stirring the pot. I think it's the benefit is the good thing to look for is not necessarily people stirring the pot, because like we could easily destabilize the chaos, but like the bad people have already done the things that they've done. Now we just need people to scrutinize everything a bit more, because a big part of the reason there's so much like fraud and bad, misbehavior is because people just assume it's not happening. But now that there's more occurrences of it, if you try to say like, hey, there's some people doing bad stuff over here, people will take you more seriously because there's so many recent examples. Maybe this is wrong. That looks okay. Why doesn't it work? .404. That makes it look like there's a typo in the URL. Will this work? Okay, this works. being instantiated the same way. Oh, block dash manager. Maybe it is a typo. Look at that. It is a typo. That's what I just spent the last 20 minutes plus trying to figure it out. Was that the right one? No, it isn't. Oh, that was really close. But that's wrong. Must be passing in the wrong interface. That's why. Okay, this should hopefully be the last bug to fix before I now have a client that can connect, one single client that can connect to both local and remote WebSockets servers. There we go, it works. Let's go back to the origin, and then I'll try to open a second player. It's slower because everything's going over the network. Oh, too far. Okay. Open custom frame. Open authorized connection. Now I can do one. And submit. Oh no. Oh, I guess that makes sense. That is because that happens because on the server, why didn't that happen on the other? Most of the code, most of it's supposed to be the same, but reminds me of Dwarf Fortress Adventure Mode. Yeah, the existence of and success of that game was one of the things that made me think maybe there could be actually something to this project. So I guess that happens because I guess it's probably on when it's totally a single player server. The server is probably fast enough at unsubscribing that this condition never happens, but with multiplayer it does. And the assumption I built in is that you'd only have one player here, and any duplicate subscription to an area was an error. But that's not the case if with two connections. It's cool. I take good mechanics over graphical fidelity any day. Yeah, I think I mean I really like there's something good, terminal is good for automating things, and it is just like it's a pleasant interface. But I think it's also nice to just switch to colorful, featureful 3D graphics as well. And I guess with all the AI going on, you have to ask the question about like, what do you, what is there actually longevity in doing? Like, you don't want to waste a bunch of time building something that like nobody cares about, that gets replaced by AI. And I think if like the most difficult part, the thing that AI can't really do at all now is like this networking code and mechanics and a lot of like the deep logic. It's not really good at generating that, and like error handling and checking and stuff. But if I mean, maybe I'll never get there, but I keep thinking that eventually I could maybe just use AI to build the graphics, most of the even just like the skins and stuff. Like you can probably vibe code if you have a good API. You can probably vibe code a pretty good 3D engine on top of it, because there's already tons of like libraries and stuff, graphics libraries and things. So I guess I have to think about how this would work. I think there's also, I think, a few remaining changes to make in the like chunk loading class. Everything that has a lot of moving parts need to be calibrated to each other. Yeah, I guess once AI can like program networking code and like do the most advanced corner cases of coding, then that's kind of it for all professions. I guess it would take a while to like fully automate everything, but if AI does replace programmers completely, like if there's no need to hire a programmer, then it won't be that long before basically every career is replaced. And then we've got a lot of questions about how society would function at all. But anyway, we'll call this a victory for tonight. That's another bit of incremental progress. Let me think. Actually, well, I'll leave it for tomorrow night, but I guess theoretically I should be able to now connect to a local world and a remote world. in 2 different frames. I'll try that tomorrow night for day 298. All right, that's it for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone.